Hey guys, welcome back. I think I opened this. Okay, I can go here. Sometimes I'm too close to the sensor. I didn't know you could be too close. You have to go back. We have to go back. I mentioned at the end of yesterday about like subscribers and stuff. I think the reason why recently I don't really care about that. I always thought the threshold for like you get paid on YouTube is 1,000 subscribers, but there's also 4,000 hours watched. That's never gonna happen. In a year, you have to get 4,000 hours in a year. That's never gonna happen. So I'm like, I guess part of me was like, well, it would be nice if maybe you got a couple bucks for every video. So I will look at the subscriber numbers. But I don't do that anymore. I got, I think 200 hours. Oh, hold straight up. I have like 250 hours so far. So yeah, don't even think about it. 4,000 hours is like 10,000 hours a day, I think. Or like 11 or something. How do I do this? I remember this being kind of hard. I guess to be honest, I don't really like when people... I guess this is a bad thought. I guess I shouldn't feel this way. But like, I just saw a thing on YouTube today. I mean, Twitter. I follow a lot of YouTube people. And someone was like, what are your guys' YouTube goals? My goal is to get to 1,000 by July. I have 700. I shouldn't even say this, now that I'm thinking about it. Because it's just mean. But I don't know, I just don't... Oh, I did it. That wasn't too hard. I guess it is a bit of cognitive dissonance. Because I would be... It's hard to think, like, would I want to tweet something like that? Is it just my anxiety keeping me back? Like, is it actually something I really want to tweet in my heart, but I'm afraid to do it? Or is it something that I genuinely think is like, you shouldn't do that? I guess I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I guess if it was cognitive dissonance, it would be like, you're afraid of doing that, so you backtrack and say, well, it's dumb. So your brain is trying to be like, trying to protect you. And be like, no, you're not afraid. It's actually just dumb to do that stuff. That's why you don't do it. It's not because you're afraid. And that's probably just a little bit of both. What's this new one? Part of it's like kind of sad. It's like 1,000 people. Well, it's not really that many. I don't know. Well, I'll stop talking about it. I guess we can get all the uncharismatic notes out of the way, because I was kind of note about politics. This is probably... Well, okay, so I made a tweet today that, like, nobody liked. It's probably my first tweet ever that nobody liked. because I try to only tweet something when I think it's interesting. That's why I never really tweet, is because I only tweet something when I'm like, okay, I think this is pretty funny. And it is nice that I am able to think of things that are funny, because I never really thought I was capable of that. But sometimes I do think of something, I'm like, oh, that's a goof. So I tweeted, like, I know the tweet, I almost didn't tweet it, because I'm like, this doesn't really make sense. But it was something like, I wanted to get across that people on Twitter will tweet something like, people just who argue about politics, they're just arguing, they're not doing anything. I know it's like, so let me just get this thought out. The tweet was supposed to be about maybe I should just read it real quick, because it gets to my point of politics and why I don't like it and stuff. Also, I want to remind me, sometimes I'll think of something and I'll forget, but I want to talk about fence sitting, so remind me later if I forget. What was it? Sorry. This is a bad YouTube channel. Okay, I said, I'm sorry, but if you don't support my favorite politician who's helping people while I sit at home and watch TV, then you're part of the problem. Okay? I think that's that's fine. I mean, I'm not funny. I'm not a joke teller. The idea is like, being kind of sarcastic and being like, obviously, if that's how I felt, which it isn't, I don't feel that way, then I'm part of the problem, not you. The point is, like, people argue about politics, but they're not the people doing things. They're just the people. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have brought this up, because, like, I don't know. You're not really supposed to. It's not your job to go out and fill potholes or anything. And that, I think the reason why people don't like that tweet is because it is a little bit like fence city. I don't think people like when you sit on the fence in politics. And you're like, you act like, oh, I'm above it. Like, I don't care about this side. They're both, like, bad. I don't care about Democrats. I don't care about Republicans. They're both all bad. And, like, I'm cool because I'm above all that. Like, no, you're not. Not anymore. Nobody's above it. We're all in the muck down here. So don't act like you're above anything. Maybe I was doing that a little bit, and people didn't like that. That's okay. I agree, I kind of hate that. Like, well, the thing is, like, politicians, they all kind of, you're not a genius for saying, like, everybody sucks. Nobody's good. That's not, like, an interesting thought to have. It's true, but it's like, okay, now what are we going to do? I mean, everybody sucks, so let's move on from that point and vote for somebody. You got to vote, so you got to do something. But also in the same thought, like, did I go over? No. I hate politics. I don't like, there's so much politics on Twitter. I never like any of it because it is all just talk. And you don't have to be a political history genius to vote. That's not how democracy works. But if you're going to talk about politics, you should probably, I mean, you should know a lot about it. If you're going to be like one of these people who's like a political commentator, like you should have like a degree in studying history and how you don't have to do that to vote and to have an opinion. But I feel like these people who just like talk about politics, like you could just talk about anything. You could just say anything. Politics is, it's just all talking. Oh, I have this statistic, and I have this tweet says this, and 30% of people do this. And the people who are like the presidents and the senators, they're the heads of they're the talky people, but they're not like the doey people. They have people they're the people who are like, let's do this policy, but they're not the people actually doing it. I guess I was supposed to be like, where am I going? Is there something over here? Oh. I know leaders are like important to like push agendas forward, like, oh, we need healthcare and stuff, and like we can't do that without a person saying we need healthcare, but it's us. It seems like, well, couldn't we just figure that out by ourselves? We need a healthcare plan. Do we need somebody to tell us that, or do we need somebody to actually do it? And the senator's not going to do it. They're just going to vote on a thing. And they're going to like start a committee, and then those people are going to do it. So then when a politician gets up and starts talking and be like, you should vote for me, they're just going to be saying stuff like random crap that we want to hear. Like, I think everybody should have a job, and that's just all talk. I don't know how else to explain it. And it's hard. It's just frustrating. I guess part of the reason why it's frustrating, if I'm being honest, is like, I do have an opinion, but it's not very well informed. So when somebody confronts it, I get frustrated, like, well, but you're dumb. But I don't know why. I guess I could try to give some of my political opinions. I don't know. Save your game, yes. Like, I have a political opinion about global warming. It's not super well informed. It isn't a little bit, but yeah, it's not a very well informed opinion. But I would vote for somebody who's like, we need greener energy and stuff. Maybe the solution to the energy problem we have is to go back to coal. I mean, that's an option. And my opinion isn't super well informed, so maybe that could be what we're supposed to do. But I wouldn't vote for a person who's like, we need more coal stuff. I mean, I'm just going off what science I've learned, and I'm not like a scientist, so obviously I'm just like trusting, like, you hear these numbers like temperature has increased 1 degree Celsius in the past 50 years, and that's bad, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, if the ice caps melt and water levels rise and people lose their homes and stuff, and there's droughts and floods and hurricanes, that all sounds bad. And then you think, well, the solution is greener energy, but then that's could be bad for the economy, because so much of our economy is based on oil. And I'm kind of rambling now. And then you hear like these dire things like, oh, we're past the point of no return, like 400 parts per million. I think this virus is helping us, though. People aren't driving as much, so. I think if you come at it from a place of like, I don't really know what the right thing to do is. Like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a politician. Like, I just think we should be a little bit greener than we are now, and I think that would help. Maybe I'm wrong. I think, and it makes sense, like, well, eventually it would be nice to get off these fossil fuels. It would be cool, like, if you could just have a solar panel on your house and you wouldn't have to pay for gas. You could have a solar panel, or you just have an electric car, and you wouldn't have to pay for gas. That'd be kind of cool. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Ah, okay. Okay, but just to sum up that point, if you do come at it from that place, I know, like, there's a lot at stake, so people get excited about political stuff. Like, well, if we don't do this, people are gonna die, and it's true. I mean, if we don't do it, people might die. Like with healthcare and stuff. And that's why I usually do side with the Democrats, because, like, they seem like they care more about human life. Maybe that's not true, but it does seem like the Republicans are more willing to, like, risk life to save a buck. I don't want to say anything too crazy, but if you come at it from a place of, like, I don't really know what the right thing to do is, then first of all, you don't build in that cognitive dissonance where, like, you back yourself into a corner and then you feel like you have to fight everybody who disagrees, like, because you've already, like, built this fortress of, like, this defense, like, this is the way everything has to be, so nothing can get through it. I feel like that's the way that most people should approach politics. Like, if you're just a schmo like me, just doing, like, I don't know about anything, and I'm just doing my job. I go to work, you know. I jackhammer the sidewalks, whatever. You don't have to be crazy about it. I don't know, because, like, and there's bad stuff happening, and you do want to care about that stuff, but who knows? I don't know. But I guess there's a point in there somewhere. So maybe this episode didn't record, and that would be probably for the best. But thanks for watching. Maybe I should say, like, comment every episode. Well, nobody really watches to the end anyway. My voice is cracking. Oh my god, I just gotta stop. Okay. Comment if you want to comment, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.